All right, B Squad, welcome back to the Data Science Bootcamp. You are in course one where we are building the funding management app. All right, guys, so we're finally at the space where we're going to start storing our information that we gathered from our participants in a SQL database. All right. In order for us to go through that, I wanted to give you guys a pre-lesson on data types first. All right. So I'm going to start just with the four basic ones, and then you guys will see these data types actually show up when we are writing to the database. All right. So, firstly, this is a little saying that I was putting together. Before we can build a great database, we need to speak the language of data. That means choosing the right data types for every column. All right. So, firstly, we have a string field. So, think names, labels, comments, descriptions, products. And then within the string field, we have something called the varchar and then text. So a varchar stands for variable length string. That's best when you want to limit the length or how long something can be. So for example, like a first name, for example. So any like I think the maximum length or number of characters is 255. And that's usually like most of your strings. So text, think like for example, you guys will see this pop up if there's like feedback that the user that you want the users to share with you. Anything that's gonna be like long, think like think like paragraph, think description, things of that nature. All right. Moving on. Hold on, let me see. Connecting my headphones really quickly. Make sure it's not connected to my phones. The next data type is actually the numeric data type. Just connecting my headphones really quickly. All right, so the next data type is the it's the it's numeric. So numeric, you can have integer, you could also have decimal, you can also have float. So think numbers. So scores, prices, quantities, ratings, anything that you can multiply, subtract, add, you're thinking numeric. Integer is a whole number. So like one, two, uh, decimal. It's more so for it's like less precision, but it's faster. So that's for like currency. And I think that yeah, you define how many decimal places. The most common is two, especially for money. So like $3.50, for example. And then you also have floats. So this is more like for scientific. Yeah, the most common use case where you guys go is going to be integer and decimal. All right. Next we have date. But under this flavor, you have date time, and time stamp. So date is just like a regular date. For example, this one has May 18th, 2025. And then you have a date time. So this is like, for example, an order time. So if I want to store like when an order was placed, because not only is the date relevant to me, but the time that someone is placing an order might be relevant to me if I wanted to do an analysis of the most common times that my customers are ordering. Is it in the morning, the afternoon, or the evening time? So I would want to have stored when, like what time the order was actually placed. And then you have timestamp. So timestamp also stores the time, but it also stores the time zone. So that's very relevant because especially if you do like for example ecom and like you like the time where the server is actually located might be one time and one time zone, where like the place where your customers place the order could be in a different time zone. And so when you're recording the transactions, understanding like which time zone, um, you know, your record is referring to is important. So I actually had that come up a few times, the time zone issue. All right. The next most common type is Boolean. So think true, false, yes, no, 1, 0. So Boolean, binary. Um, this is most common. Again, like a lot of times on my in the designs that we have, what has to like is active, for example. Yeah, for this is like active users. Um, there are two more. Enum and blob that you won't use as much. Enum is more like categorical values, so things like male, female, non-binary, other. Um, and then blob is more so like for storing files or images. You won't see this one as much. All right. So this is our pre-lesson on data types. In the next video, what we'll actually do is go back to our wireframe and as we're going through our different charts, we'll actually continue to go through like what fields these are, but then we're going to start actually filling in our SQL to create our database. All right. So with that being said, I will see you guys in the